Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, October 10. I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government will be vigilant to ensure that the new operators of the Norman Manley International Airport, NMIA, in Kingston adheres to all terms and conditions of its 25-year concession agreement. The government and the Mexican firm Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacífico, GAP, signed the agreement to manage the airport under a public-private partnership this morning. GAP, which was selected last month by the Development Bank of Jamaica, will be responsible for improving the efficiency of both landside and airside operations at NMIA during the concession period. Speaking at the concession signing ceremony this morning, Mr. Holness said government will be faithful to what it has agreed to.
Who will now be operating the Norman Manley International Airport will proceed in good faith with the agreement. But were that not to happen, God forbid, the government will follow the legal process and the regulatory process to enforce. And that is an assurance that we give to the people of Jamaica.
In the meantime, the Prime Minister is reassuring the country that it is not a sale of the airport, but rather a divestment of the airport's operations.
Government of Jamaica retains the ownership of the asset. We own it. But we have to face the fact that the government of Jamaica what was never and probably will never be specialists in the management of airports. And at the end of the day, what I believe the public wants more than anything else is a well-managed facility that delivers a service efficiently and at an affordable price point.
President of the private sector organization of Jamaica, PSO J Howard Mitchell, is pushing for more serious analysis to be done on the exploration for oil in Jamaica based on data in the recent United Nations report on climate change. Mr. Mitchell is arguing that Jamaica needs to decide how it will approach its use of fossil fuels based on the rising temperatures outlined in the report and the risk of permanent environmental damage. In its 700-page report, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change warned that the world has only 12 years to make massive changes to limit global warming to moderate levels, or there would be catastrophic consequences.
The report clearly states that the world has already warmed by 1 degree centigrade due to human activity, and as a result, climate change is already affecting people, ecosystems, and livelihoods around the world. The Secretary General welcomed the report, and in a tweet he said that it is not impossible to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, but it will require urgent, unprecedented, and collective climate action in all areas.
With that, the PSOJ president says radical changes are required in transportation, energy use, and building infrastructure, in addition to reducing current coal consumption by 1/3. This poses a challenge as Jamaica seeks to benefit from oil exploration. Mr. Mitchell says he's not discouraging the activity, but believes more analysis is needed.
Reading what I have of the UN report, it appears that fossil fuels and the consumption and burning of fossil fuels are the primary culprits in producing carbon dioxide, which appears to be causing an accelerating global warming. And therefore, one of the initiatives we have to take in Jamaica is to reduce the burning and the usage of fossil fuels, even more than we have been taking it recently. So I think it is perfectly legitimate for us to look at the question of whether or not, even if we continue the exploration,
work at Gisco Alport in St. Elizabeth may be on the brink of stoppage if issues surrounding workers becoming unionized are not addressed. The workers are upset due to the delayed response from the Labour Ministry to provide a voters list so that a representational rights poll can be taken. Speaking with TVJ News this morning, President of the Union of Clerical Administrative and Supervisory Employees, UK's, Vincent Morrison, noted that the issue has been going on for too long.
It's going 2 months now, and the Ministry of Labour is unable to furnish us with the voters list. When we talk to them, you know what they say? Other unions have served claim, and they are waiting on the other union. Something gone wrong at the Ministry of Labour. Over the years, I've never had this problem with the ministry, but I can tell you we are having serious problems with the conciliatory section of the ministry. We don't believe that what ought to be done is being done.
Mr. Morrison says the voter list from the Labour Ministry is pertinent so that his organization can start to look into issues that are affecting the workers. These, he noted, include wage and terms of condition.
It is a bauxite and aluminum plant, the biggest one this side of the world. And it cannot be run without the union. The point is that when the plant closed in 2010, what they are now being paid is 60% less. Despite all the devaluation, the movement in the cost of living, etc., etc. The workers are being paid 60% less than what they were paid when they closed in 2010. And we don't think this is fair to the workers.
The UK's president says if the issue is not addressed urgently, the union will be taking the matter to the courts. The St. Catherine South Police are investigating the shooting of a couple in Central Village on Monday night. The shooting left one woman, 24-year-old Nicolette Hardy, a customer service representative, dead. Mrs. Hardy's husband remains hospitalized. The Hardys had filed a report recently with the St. Catherine South Police saying that they were in fear for their lives. They were escorted from the community by the police. The police say the couple returned home about 4 o'clock Monday night. About 7:30, residents heard explosions. The man accused of raping 2 American tourists at the Rio Reggae Hotel in St. James late last month is scheduled to make his first appearance in court today. Demar Scott was charged by the St. James Police on Sunday with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of grievous sexual assault, 2 counts of assault with intent to rob, illegal possession of a firearm, and illegal possession of ammunition. Mr. Scott, who was employed to the hotel as an entertainment coordinator, has reportedly given a statement to the police denying that he raped the women. He has also been listed as a person of interest by the Manchester Police for several cases of sexual assault committed last year. The Jamaica Defence Force soldier who has been charged with illegal possession of firearm last week is now facing more charges. The illegal weapon found in his possession has been linked to 3 murders committed in Clarendon. Private Garfield Brown was arrested and charged last week along with Joseph Lindsay, who was charged with possession of a stolen motorcar. The 2 were held in a house in Swansea, Clarendon. Police say they tracked the stolen car to the house occupied by the soldier and his co-accused days after police found the body of Nigel Winter, who had been driving the vehicle. Mr. Winter's body was found in bushes in Swansea. Our sources have revealed that the result of ballistics tests returned this week have linked the gun seized from the soldier to the murder of Mr. Winter. The tests have also shown that the gun was used in 2 other murders in Clarendon. Private Brown and Mr. Lindsay are to return to the Clarendon Parish Court on October 31. Members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, may soon find it easier to own a home. This as the Jamaica Police Cooperative Credit Union, JPCCU, is partnering with the Victoria Mutual Building Society, VMBS, to provide special mortgage services.
Not only members of the credit union will be able to benefit from this, but non-members can also join their family members who are members of the police credit union in this mortgage agreement.
Interest rates on mortgages from the National Housing Trust can be as high as 6%. The rates under this partnership aren't much different, but there are a few incentives.
Okay, so for this agreement specifically, we have agreed a 75 basis points reduction in the interest rate. So currently we're at 8.5% as our base rate, so this takes the rate down to 7.75. And that matches up very nicely with all the other features of our mortgage. A 50% reduction in the cost of valuation, there is a reduced cost of insurance, there's faster processing time in as short as 5 working days, right? Plus the expert guidance of our mortgage lending team. So overall, this is perhaps the best mortgage proposition that is there, and it's a great package for the members of the Police Cooperative Credit Union.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we look at the elderly and the benefits of exercise for them.
3 days a week, and I've been enjoying it, and I've been losing some weight.
So you've been coming here 3 days per week. What are some things you do when you come here?
Well, some of the things are the classes, the aerobic classes, and there are various different exercises, and Raphael tries to change it up every week. When he does the aerobic class with different exercises, you know.
That's the Health Report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. Exercise can help reduce blood pressure in some people with hypertension, helps people with chronic disabling conditions improve their stamina and muscle strength, reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression, helps maintain healthy bones, muscles and joints, helps control joint swelling and pain associated with arthritis.
We go on to news overseas. Hurricane Michael is now a dangerous Category 4 storm. The storm is forecast to make landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast and is expected to be the largest storm to hit the region in 100 years. The details from the CNN.
Hurricane Michael, a monstrous, life-threatening storm, is intensifying as it barrels through warm Gulf waters on course to make landfall along the Florida Panhandle Wednesday afternoon. Emergency officials are sending out a dire warning for people in the path. Get out now.
This storm is dangerous, and if you don't follow warnings from officials, this storm could kill you.
Hurricane Michael is threatening a huge 300-mile chunk of coastline from Florida to Alabama. Some roads are already turning into rivers. President Trump is declaring an emergency, opening up federal disaster aid ahead of the storm.
We are very well prepared. FEMA's ready. We're all ready.
Potentially lethal storm surge up to 12 feet high is expected, along with relentless heavy rains expected to trigger flooding and high winds that could cause widespread power outages. Thousands of National Guardsmen and hundreds of Florida state troopers are on alert, ready to head into life-threatening situations.
Our priority is going to be on life-saving.
Many store shelves are running empty as people who are braving the storm stock up for what is expected to be a long recovery ahead.
We had people at our doors at 5:30 this morning wanting to come in. We opened at 6. By 6:15, we sold out of every generator we had.
And still overseas, at least 10 people were killed and 1 child remains missing after heavy rain and flash floods hit the Spanish island of Majorca on Tuesday night. The UK Foreign Office confirmed that 2 of those killed were British, but gave no further details. Hundreds of emergency responders, including members of the military, have been deployed to the scene. Several roads were cut off, while some schools were closed Wednesday because of the floods. And we go on to sports. With 5 days to go before the running of the SVREL Cal's $3 million Gold Cup over 7 furlongs at Caymanas Park, the Robert Pearson-trained Will in Charge and Dwight Chen's Chase the Great take center stage in this preview.
Over the past 6 years, the history of the Gold Cup has always provided exciting, thrilling and blanket finishes, and this Saturday's race will surely keep punters on the edge. One contender will be the improving 5-year-old Will in Charge from the barn of Robert Pearson, who has chalked up 3 big wins from 4 starts, all being silverware races. On April 21, the long-striding Will in Charge won the Legal Light Trophy over 9 furlongs and 25 yards, and in so doing, handed She's Amanita her first defeat. Then on June 9th, he won the Chairman's Trophy over 7 furlongs and the Prime Minister's Stakes on August 25 over 10 furlongs. Will in Charge's only defeat came in the Viceroy Trophy to Houdini's Magic over 9 furlongs. He has looked good in his preparation for the Gold Cup, galloping 5 furlongs in 59.4 on September 22. Then on Sunday, October 7, he galloped 5.5 furlongs in a minute 6 flat, which pleases Pearson as the time betters She's Amanita's 1 minute 06 and 3/5.
It's a little bit on the short side for him, but he's very versatile, and I've sharpened him a little bit for this race, and I'm expecting a very positive result.
Pearson also believes Will in Charge can beat She's Amanita again.
We always have to beat her once she's in the race. She's a super filly, and I have the most respect for her, but we have beaten her twice this year, and we can do it again.
The consistent Chase the Great has only been defeated by She's Amanita twice and once the Money Magnet, and Siempre Bueno will surely be around at the finishing line. Chase the Great, who has been preparing timely with some strength work, cantered 9 furlongs on September 22 before galloping 5 furlongs in a minute flat, Then on Sunday, October 7, posted a minute 14 and 2/5 of a second over 6 furlongs.
World Cup is a very tough race. You're going to see the island's best middle distance horses and things. We're just hoping for the best.
But there's one big problem facing trainer Dwight Chen.
You have the speedsters that's going to go, which is like the Nunes horses and things. The danger is she's a man-eater. To me, don't watch the weight because she's a super horse. And she has beaten practically everybody carrying 126 pounds. So she's a man-eater, is the one to beat because just like the other day, she has a turn of foot which is unbelievable, like in the last quarter.
So come Saturday, the winning connection will be walking away with $1.6 million and the trophy.
And that's your Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.